25 laps.
We are live here with the SCCA Fresno Chapter Sim Racing League here on another Wednesday night. Here we are at Virginia International Raceway for round number 4 of the SCCA Fresno Chapter Sim Racing season. My name is Chris Murphy here with DRSN. Happy to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to get qualifying underway, and here the SCCA group, they treat qualifying as another race. It's basically a points race here. So we'll have 2 winners tonight. We'll have the winner of the overall race, the 25-minute race coming up after qualifying, and then we will also be awarded the same amount of points for the qualifying effort. So right now you can see the 14 of Bryce Dickman. Bryce won last race out at Lime Rock, came home with his first victory of the season in a close battle with Alexander Neufeld and Paul Newton. They were top 3 within 1 second of each other, and Bryce coming home with the win. Neufeld not here with us tonight, but Paul Newton is. We've got a few drivers sharing their driver cams with us. It looks like we've got Trevor Fetchner, James Carruthers on here, Audrey Cam, Bryce Dickman, and I know Paul's camera's on there too, but for some reason it is not showing up here. So a little bug in the system, but we've got a few drivers out here sharing their cams with us. Thanks so much for you guys. Bryce Dipkin out on the racetrack right now. Gonna get our first laps in here on the racetrack. Paul Newton out here in the 27, Team Skittles teammate with Audrey Tan in the 027 and the 27. As we get qualifying here underway, I want to remind you we've got more action coming your way this week here on DRSN Friday night. We will have the Half Decent Racing League, and also we just picked up another race for Friday night. My Sager Basher is going to cover this one, but it's going to be the Survivor 200. It's going to be a chaos race brought to you by the Rough Racing community, and what they're doing is they're doing a race at Daytona, a multi-class race, and they're doing Indy cars, Craftsman trucks, and street stocks, or excuse me, mini stocks. So that ought to be interesting for sure. All right, Bryce Dipkin out on the racetrack right now. Actually, we're looking at Paul Newton in the 27 making his first laps on the racetrack tonight. A couple other things we got going on here with the SCCA Fresno chapter. Next week, they're going to start their Sim Rally Club. They're going to be using the EA game, the new EA Sports, the WRC World Rally Championship game. They'll start that next week, 5 rounds. If you want to get on that, jump on over to Fresno SCCA's website. You can find all the information there at FresnoSCCA.com. As we see Paul coming around here to get his first lap started in the 27. Also on July 8th, which is going to be our next event here, round number 5 here for the SCC Fresno chapter, we're going to be, where are we at? We're going to be at Sonoma, and it's going to be brought to you by, Audrey Tan's going to sponsor it. It's going to be Skittles, the Skittles Grand Prix of Sonoma. He's going to sponsor that event here coming up in a few weeks on July 8th. Looking forward to that one. We look forward to every Wednesday night we get a chance to jump on here. Always some good racing here with the SCC Fresno group and the Mazda MX-5s. Always put on a really good show. One thing to know about here at Virginia International, it's going to be a big momentum track for sure. Going to keep up your momentum on this 3.27 miles, 17 turns. And you can see the elevation change here as we look at Juan Castillo sliding the 9 around the racetrack as he heads down the hill, coming around to the start-finish line off the final corner. All right, lap time starting to come in. Bryce Dipkin's going to come across the line at 1:42.522. But Castillo's going to come and take that top spot away from Dickman. As a matter of fact, Dickman going to fall down a couple of spots. Castillo now to the top. Trantham, I'm going to call him Trantham, is going to come in second right now. Dickman down to third. Audrey Tan with a 1:43.62. And as we're looking at that, Marcus Powell, he was good in practice in the 4:04. He is going to take the top spot here in qualifying. Got a few drivers still out there on the racetrack, but right now it is Marcus Powell out in front. We got a few more laps left to go as well. Everybody's got more than one lap out there. We see Paul Newton. All right. Well, that kind of messed up our overlays, didn't it? So Pal's still up atop. Newton comes across in second. About a full second behind right there. Do a little refresh right here, see if we can fix that. All right, keeping an eye here on the 4:04 Marcus Powell right now. Another fastest lap. He is going to improve his time at a 43.56. Newton's still 1 second behind right there. As we look at the 27, Castillo out there making another lap. Castillo's going to come across the line in second. Juan Castillo now moves the number 9 up into the second spot, only about 4/10, a little bit more than 4/10 behind our current pole sitter, Marcus Powell. We've still got 9 minutes left to go here in qualifying. Lots of laps left to be run. Powell, Castillo, Newton, Trantham, Carruthers. Last week's winner, Bryce Dipkin, now down in 6th. Mikey Bringetto down here in the 7th spot. Audrey Tan, Trevor Freshner, and Tyler King is yet to complete a lap here in the Beaver State number 21. But here he's going to come across the line and move himself up into 5th. We keep an eye on the 404 of Pal. Trying to improve his lap time even more right now, as he is right now on the pole. This would be his first pole of the season. His first win of any kind on the season, if we're looking at the timing, is after looking at the points right now. So we watch Newton here. Where is Newton at on the racetrack? Going up through the S section, up on the top of the hill, through turns 4, 5, and 6. That map's all messed up. All right, watch the 27. Can he improve on his timing? He closed in within about 0.3 of a second of Marcus Powell. Can he do any better? White flag on the speedway right now. It looks like Paul Newton's on his last lap. We've got 7 minutes left to go in qualifying. Audrey Tan now falls down to 10th in the 27. Dickman improves his lap time. He's going to join that 140 group. He is down there just 0.02 of a second off of Newton for second. Dickman now to 3rd. As Newton comes across the line, does not improve his time right now. It is still Marcus Powell at the top. And I think that's going to do it. I think we have 3 laps per driver, if I remember correctly. But we see Powell's going to make a few more laps out here. All right, as qualifying is winding down here. Take a minute here and show you your point standings. We see Paul Newton one more time out here. Got within about 0.3 of a second of Marcus Powell. Just could not close the rest of the gap. Everybody's still on the racetrack making laps. We see Dickman right here. Dickman's going to come across the line. Move up to 2nd. He is going to get by Paul Newton there for the 2nd spot. That is going to complete his final lap. As Dickman pulls off the racetrack, so we got Powell right here on his final lap, coming out of turn number 17 to the line. Can Powell improve on his lap time? He's sitting at the top with a 140.36. What was that last time? Does not look like he improved on it at a 147.0. Let's see what Paul Newton does. Paul's coming across the line here for his 4th and final lap. He's right now sitting at a 140.648. Going to come across the line. He's going to improve on his time at a 140.582, but not enough to move up. He is going to stay there in 3rd, so it's Powell, Dickman, Newton. Last drive, and Fechner still had a lap to go, but he is going to speed. He spun off into the grass. So the 12 with Fechner, he is done. Audrey Tan's done with her laps, so that's 4 laps completed for everybody on the racetrack. And again, I don't know why we're not getting Paul's camera to show up here. All right, that's going to round out qualifying here at Virginia International Speedway, and it's going to be Marcus Powell, Bryce Dickman, Paul Newton, Juan Castillo, Tyler King, Jason Trantham, James Carruthers, Mikey Bringetti, Trevor Fechner, and Audrey Tan are going to round out our 10 drivers here tonight for the SCC Fresno Chapter Sim Racing League. All right, so while we're getting grouped up here, while we're getting everybody kind of taking a breath here after qualifying, let's see if we can take a look at our current point standings. Alexander Newfield, who is not here tonight, 5 wins on the season, leads by 12 points over Bryce Dickman. Paul Newton right back in 3rd, down 17 points from the leader. Marcus Powell in 4th. Tyler King Juan Castillo, James Carruthers, Audrey Tan, and Trevor Fetchner, and everybody else tied for 8th with no points on the season so far. But Marcus Powell is going to take home his first victory here as he tops the timing charts here in qualifying by almost 2 full tenths of a second over second place Bryce Dickman. And it looks like Bryce might have fixed his camera for us. And I still don't know why I can't get Paul's to show up, but that's all right. All right, Trevor Fetchner, James Carruthers, Audrey Tan, and Bryce Dickman all sharing their cams with us here tonight. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to have a little bit of a break here, and then we're going to get right into 25 minutes of racing action. And we've got some new toys here. I'm trying to get them to work, but I'm going to have a talk with Paul and Audrey because the way our system works with their car numbers basically being the same, it kind of messes it up. So we'll have to just get rid of that for the night. All right. 25 minutes of racing action coming your way. We got 2 minutes left to go here in our warm-up, and we'll get you our starting grid here shortly. My name is Chris Murphy here with DRSN. If you first time here, hit that subscribe button, give us a like. Appreciate it. What's Trevor looking at there? I think Trevor's looking at his watching the broadcast on his phone. Thanks, Trevor, for being there. All right, we've got, let's see here. How much more we got left on this schedule? So next on July 5th, or excuse me, July 8th, we go out to California, go to Sonoma. And then August 5th, it's Alton Park. And we come back on September 2nd for another mystery track. This was a mystery track tonight, by the way, and they drew Virginia International Speedway, so it's kind of nice. It's one of the free track for everybody. September 30th, so September is the only month we have 2 races in the same month. On the 30th, we come back to Summit Point Raceway. October 28th, we will be at, what do we got here? A time trial mystery track, so another mystery track. 2 more left to go on the season, and then we round out our season December 2nd at Laguna Seca, which the iRacing just did a complete rescan of Laguna Seca, so I've not jumped on there to see what that looks like yet, but I've heard good things about it. So that's going to wrap up qualifying. We got about 45 seconds here left to go in our warm-up session, and we'll get right to the 25 minutes of action. And it looks like by the qualifying times, we're going to have some close action up front tonight. Powell, Dickman, Newton, and Castillo all within about 0.4 of a second. Tyler King just about a second back there in 5th. All right. Again, we got more action coming your way this week. Friday night, nothing tomorrow night, but Friday night we have 2 events going on. We have the Half Decent Racing League going on at 9 o'clock Eastern, also at 9 o'clock Eastern on the channel. If you want a little chaos, check out the Survivor 200. It's going to be Indy cars, mini stocks, and Craftsman trucks all on the racetrack together at Daytona. That should be an interesting one. All right. Looks like we got a 5-minute warm-up here. So we're going to take a quick break while they're getting warmed up out on the racetrack, making a few more laps, dialing some things in. We're going to step away for just a minute, grab ourselves a drink. So we'll be right back in about 3 minutes.
Now, driver, while the field gets sorted out and someone out there is still trying to find reverse, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the middle of a race and thought, man, I really wish someone in my headset would tell me what the hell is going on? Maybe you're running out of fuel. Maybe the leader is about to lap you. Maybe you just wrecked half the field and you're pretending it wasn't your fault. Well, driver, that's where I come in. AI Chief. Your personal crew chief, race strategist, motivator, and occasionally the only voice of reason between you and the outside wall. With AI Chief you get live race strategy, fuel and pit calls, real-time race updates, savage coaching when you start doing something dumb, and trust me, based on what I've seen out there tonight, some of you really need the help. AI Chief doesn't just tell you when to pit, he tells you when to save fuel, when to push, and when to maybe, just maybe, stop trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. So if you're tired of racing blind, and you'd like a crew chief that actually knows what he's doing, head over to AIChiefRacing.com and let Chief get you sorted out. Because the only thing worse than wrecking is wrecking without knowing why. AI Chief, I've got your back. Now let's get back to the action.
All right, back to live time here. We've got a couple minutes left to go in our warm-up session. See a few drivers out there on the racetrack trying to get the setup dialed in a little bit. About 6 seconds off of qualifying, it looks like, at a 146 of Marcus Powell. Thought we were down in the 140s at qualifying, so track conditions have changed just a little bit. Once again, we'll jump into our webcam drivers. And sorry, Paul, I just can't get yours to show up for some reason, so we'll get it fixed for next time. Trevor Fatchner, James Carruthers, Bryce Dickman, and Audrey Tan all sharing cams with us. Appreciate it. See if Bryce Dickman's... He's got some work to do if he's going to try to get win number 2 on the season here. Going to start back here in... He's got to battle up here. He's got a few more... Last week it was... our last race anyway, not last week, last month. It was Dickman, Neufeld, and Newton all going at it, but looks this week we might have 4 or 5 drivers up here in the front, so we're going to see how this plays out as we're just rounding up our practice. And you can see Mikey Bringetti off the racetrack right there, getting it gathered back up. So 17 turns here at Virginia. You know, this track was built way back in the 50s. And then sat around dormant for about 25 years. At one point, came back to life in 2000. And it's been one of the premier tracks here in the country right now. A lot of big races ran here at Virginia, and they've done a really nice job putting it back together. It's been running now for the last 26 years. Yet to make it out that way, but looks like a great place. Here's Dickman gonna make his laps drive off through the cones right there. So we're winding up our practice session here, warm-up session, 15 seconds left to go, and we're gonna get right into racing action here. 25 minutes of racing action coming your way here in the SCCA Fresno chapter sim racing league. We got 10 drivers out on the racetrack. All right, you can see the fireworks going off on the timing and scoring. That means that warm-up session is over, and we're gonna get right into racing action. All right, get everybody on the starting line up here. We'll bring you the grid here in just a moment as soon as we get drivers out onto the racetrack. All right, looks like we're going to have a full pace lap. It looks like at this point as drivers are lining up on pit road. So one full rolling lap, pace lap. All right, so we're going to bring you a starting lineup here. Brought to you by AI Chief. AI Chief, if you're looking for a competitive edge, help you out there on the racetrack, give you some strategy, give you some coaching tips, and sometimes just wildly talk in your ear sometimes. But AI Chief is a pretty cool tool. We keep working on it, keep changing things around on it, but it's been a lot of help in the times I've used it. So check out AI Chief at AIChiefRacing.com. We're going to bring our starting lineup as we got everybody rolling off the starting grid right now. So for one full pace lap here. So on the pole in the 404, it's going to be Marcus Powell. It is outside the last race winner at Lime Rock. It's Bryce Dickman. Back to row number 2. Starting third is going to be the 27 of Paul Newton and the 9 of Juan Castillo. I don't think I can stretch this out for the whole lap, but we're going to try. Powell's had pace all night long. He was fastest in practice. He's fastest in qualifying. Can he hang on? Can he get in front of Dickman here? And hang on for the victory, for his first victory of the season. They're making our way through turns 16 and 17 right now, down to the final corner. As we're waiting for the cars to come up over the hill to the starting grid, to the starting line actually. Barney the flagman getting ready to wave the green flag here on 25 laps of racing action, Aberdeen International Speedway. Marcus Powell with a good jump out in front. He is going to take the lead down at the turn number 1. He's got Dickman right there with him. Newton, Castillo, all single file. Newton looks to the inside of Dickman as they head into 1. Going to make a late lunge. He's there. Dickman's going to give him the inside line and then cut it off halfway through the corner. Powell goes wide through 1 and 2. Dickman right on the back of Marcus Powell. They start heading up into, where am I at my map? Through turns 4, 5, and 6 right here. It's Powell, Dickman, Newton, Castillo, Trantham, everybody pretty much in a straight line at this point. Nobody jumping out challenging here as they head down that back straightaway. Up through the S's, up into turn 10, 11. Where are we at on my map? Alright, I gotta quit using the wrong map. Alright, Powell out in front. Dickman trying everything he can to reel him in. Newton and Castillo, that's your top 4 right there. Then it's a little ways back to the 5th place running Jason Trantham, King, and Carruthers right there. Bringetto, I think this is Mikey's first time here. It's the first time I've seen him on the racetrack in the 17. And a little ways back from that is Fetchner and Audrey Tan. First 4 drivers, actually first 3 drivers starting to see a little separation, more separation between Dickman and Newton than I expected. I figured Paul would be able to hang on right there at the front of the field, but he is dropping back a little bit. He's about a 3/4 of a second behind Dickman right now as he makes a late lunge right here down into 1. Powell off the racetrack, that's going to cost him. Powell gets off the racetrack in turn 1. That is going to hand over the lead to Bryce Dickman. Newton and Castillo all get past him. So your pole sitter, Marcus Powell, makes a mistake right here on lap number 2. Off the racetrack, sends him back to 4th. He's got some work to do if he wants to get back to the front of this thing as he looks to the outside of Castillo now. Tries to switch back to the inside as they head up through the S's. Up here into Oak Tree. Powell looks to the inside of Castillo. He's got the line. Castillo's got to give it to him. They're side by side. Little contact right there in the center of the corner. That's letting Trantham close up on the back of him. Watching this battle for third, fourth, and fifth. Powell had a good run at Castillo, but got in a little too deep. They made a little contact. He backs off, lets Castillo get away right there in third. Up front is Dickman and Newton. We saw this last time out. But right now, Bryce Dickman looking really strong out here in the 14. Can he pick up win number 2? We're going to come off of the last couple of corners here to complete our second lap. We got 21 minutes left to go. Bryce Dickman's got 21 minutes to hang on to the lead, and he's got pressure from Paul Newton all over the back of him. All right, Dickman, Newton, Powell now back to third. Powell is going to get to the inside of Castillo. They're side by side once again. Out to the outside. Does a nice little crossover right there. Nice move from Marcus Powell. He went to the outside. Castillo pushed the car a little harder in the corner, opened up the bottom of the racetrack, and Powell went right back by him. So Marcus Powell now back to third after making a mistake earlier and losing the lead. Trantham doing a nice job. He's hanging on to fifth. He's going to get out in the dirt there a little bit. Little dirt track in action there in the 8. A little further back, it's Carruthers, King, Bringetto. So we got Tyler King, Bringetto, and Fetchner. This is for 8th and 9th. And then a little bit further back is the 027 of Audrey Tan. Back up front, though, it's still the 14 of Dickman, but he has got his rear view camera full of the 27 of Paul Newton. We can see Newton here. We jump onto the nose cam, closing in on the back of the 14. Actually, Bryce gets away from here just a little bit. About 0.6 of a second back is Newton. Let's take a look at this battle. Powell's going to clear Castillo now for third. A good battle going on here for third and fourth. Marcus Powell able to regain that spot back around Castillo, but where's he at here? He's got about a 1.5 seconds up the road is the 27 of Paul Newton. Marcus has shown good pace all day long, but does he have the pace to reel in Dickman and Newton there? He's got about 19 minutes left to do it. Bryce Dickman looking strong right now, looking to pick up his second win of the season, but the 27 is just not letting him go. He is right there within striking distance, about a 0.5 seconds now between the 14 and the 27, which equals about 3 to 4 car lengths by the eyeball test. Off the track goes Marcus Powell once again. Doesn't look like it cost him any time. You can see the dust flying in the background. Castillo closes up on the back of him, and Marcus Powell's going to hang on to third. Let's look a little further back. We got a battle going on here with Carruthers and King. This is for 6th and 7th. Carruthers in the 83 hangs on to 6. Here comes King's going to look, take a peek to the outside. Not able to get up alongside. He's going to look one more time. Let's see if he tries to cross over. No, he's going to settle back in behind Carruthers. Dickman looking really consistent out there. Keeping the gap about the same between Newton here for the last 4 or 5 laps. Let's take a look here at our last 5 laps here. Actually, we've only ran 3, haven't we? So you can see the 3 laps right there between Dickman and Newton. Newton's been faster the last couple of laps. About 0.2 of a second on the last lap, and here he is right on the back bumper now. He's going to take a look to the outside. Down the front straightaway. Does he have a run into turn number 1? Newton on the outside, Dickman on the bottom. Dickman's got the preferred line. Can he shut the door off on Newton into turn number 1? Newton has to whoa up on the outside. A nice run down the front straightaway. He's going to cross over Dickman there through turn 2. Newton now back to the front. Paul Newton takes the lead off of turn number 2 as they start to head up the NASCAR bend into 3 and into 4 side by side with the 14 and the 27. They're going at it here. Up to turn number 4. We get in this long straightaway here up into the climbing S as Dickman is able to clear Newton. And with them battling up there with the lead, here comes Marcus Powell. Marcus Powell closing in on the back. Hey, Deborah and Double Apex, thank you guys for joining on the stream tonight. Appreciate you being there. All right, your leader's still Bryce Dickman, but he has now got a couple cars behind him. He just had Paul Newton to contend with, but now he's also got the 404 Powell's. Powell closes back in up on the front. And I gotta say sorry to my dog because I just accidentally kicked her in the face on the floor. So Dickman hanging on to the lead. We've completed 4 laps here. 16 minutes left to go. Through the speed shot, it's Dickman, Newton, Powell. That's your top 3. The 404 had the lead in this race. It was his race to win. He started on the pole, but made a mistake on about lap 2. Handed the lead over to Dickman. And he is trying to get back to the front. He's going to go off in the grass. He's looking for a way around Newton. He's got some good pace there off of the last corner down the front straightaway. They're going to head up into turn number 1. He's going to look to the outside of Newton. They're side by side. They're almost 3 wide right there. Powell on the outside of Newton. Dickman right there with him as well. And here comes the 9 of Castillo as these guys are battling up front. Castillo also wants to get into the fight. We're going to have a 4-car battle for the lead here in just a minute. Bryce Dickman's got to keep the focus out in front of him right here. He doesn't want to be looking up in the mirror too much because there's a big battle as Powell clears Newton there for second. Just drive his own race. He's got to stay out in front, block where he can, but just stay focused on what is in front of the 14. But here comes Marcus Powell. Last time around, Newton was the fastest. Let me see. Last time around, Powell was the fastest car on the track by almost a second. And you can see it right there. He's got the closing rate on the back of Bryce Dickman. We head up into the roller coaster through 13, 14, and 15. We're on the short track. All right, come off the last corner to the start-finish line. Dickman, Powell, and Newton. Powell's definitely got the pace. Can he find a way around? He's caught Dickman, but getting around him is going to be another story. Closes up on the back. Dickman into 1. He looks to the inside. Bryce opens up the bottom of the racetrack and just gives it the inside line to Powell. He takes the late lunge. Marcus Powell back to the lead after sitting on the pole, losing the lead on lap 2. He's crawled all the way back up here to the front. Marcus Powell looking to pick up his first win on the season, and he's made that pass look easy on Bryce Dickman right there into turn number 1. Fantastic drive here from Marcus Powell. He's got the dominant car here tonight. It's been the fastest car on the racetrack all night long, and he is showing us he gets himself back out in front. That negates Dickman back to second. Newton now to third. Castillo in fourth, and these top 4 cars still close together, still pretty much nose to tail at this point. All right, so we take a look here at the 14. Powell starting to drive away as now 0.6 of a second. This looks to be Marcus's Powell race his race to lose in the 404. They're going to come off the final corner one more time across the line here to complete lap number 7. 13 minutes left to go. We're about halfway through this one. We started with 25 minutes. We're down to 13 as they come across the line. So with that estimation, if my math is mathing right in my head, that's going to be about seven more laps. So we see Bringetto right here off the racetrack. Let's see if we can see what happened to Mikey here. So watch the 17. Just gets down the corner a little too hot here and just drives it off the racetrack out into the grass, but he's going to gather it back up. We're going to take a look back, get back to live time, and look up here at the front. It's still Marcus Powell, and look at this, 4 cars right on top of each other. We've been seeing this week in and week out here in the SCC Fresno chapter. Just a great battle on the racetrack. Powell Dickman's now closed back up on the back of him. Does he have anything for him? Watch the 14er Bryce Dickman. He's hungry. He got one win this season. The first one's a hard one to get. The second one's will come easy, but right now this one's not easy. He's got Marcus Powell right there in front of him. Last time around, the fastest car on the racetrack was your leader. Once again, if we take a look at our last 5 lap times here between Powell and Dickman, you can see Powell 1.3 seconds faster on lap number 5 every single lap. Powell has been quicker. Dickman closed in on the back of him. Right now, it's starting to fall back again. There's your battle for the lead, about 0.3 of a second now as Dickman closed in. You can see the time shrinking. They head down the front straightaway into 1. Is Dickman going to take a late lunge? He's down to the inside of Powell. Powell opened the door, and he's going to shut it going into turn number 1. Dickman settles back into second. And Powell once again drives off the racetrack. That's the second time today Marcus Powell is driven off the racetrack, hands the lead back over to Bryce Dickman one more time. Let's take a look at that here real quick. Watch Marcus Powell. They headed up into turn number 1. Dickman took a look to the inside right here. Powell shuts the door, gets a little bit late break into 1, and he pushes the car, just picks up a nasty push up off the corner, drives out into the grass, and he is going to lose 3 spots once again. So that is the second time today that Marcus Powell has been out in the front, made a mistake in turn number 1, and drops all the way back to 4th. That is going to give the lead back over to the 14 of Bryce Dickman. Paul Newton has just been patiently sitting back there, second, third, just waiting for his opportunity. So we got James Carruthers off the racetrack. Must have just been a small off. He's back on the racetrack and still battling it out there with Tyler King. They've been going at it for most of the race here. The 83 and the 21. Up front, though, Newton's now closed up on the back. We jump on. That's a horrible looking hood cam. That's not much better. There we go. We jump on board with the 27. He's going to look to the outside of Dickman. Does he have a run? He does. Here comes Newton, looking to be our third leader of the race. He has got the line. Dickman's got to back out and give it to him. Fights back on the inside. Make their way around turn number 2. Dickman's going to get back around, and here comes Castillo. He wants to get into this fight. Still side by side. Newton's got the inside line at this point, but Dickman does a good job getting into the corner a little bit deeper. He's able to take the run off the corner while Newton was pinching the car down at the bottom of the racetrack. Dickman was able to use that curbing on the outside, get a good run off the corner. He is going to get himself back out in front. So for a brief moment, Paul Newton had the lead. Looked to be our third different leader of the race, but Dickman's going to take it back in a matter of about 2 corners. Castillo with a good run, looking for a podium finish. Newton now looks back to the outside once again. Dickman with a little bit of a bobble right there. It doesn't look like it's going to hurt him too much. He's only got 8 minutes left to go to hang on to this one. 8 minutes is going to feel like an eternity when you got Paul Newton all over your back bumper. Let's jump on board here. We've got all our cams going here again. We'll take a look. Trevor Fetchner, James Carruthers, Audrey Tan right there on the bottom left, and Bryce Dickman. And you can see the concentration on Bryce's face. Let's just solo Bryce camera here. All right. There we go. All right, you can see the focus on Bryce's face. He comes down the front straightaway to complete lap number 10. We can kind of see like the focus on his like side angle of his face there. But doing a good job. Thanks for sharing the cam with us here, Bryce. Really appreciate it, buddy. So Paul Newton in the 27 closing in on the back. Yeah, he is, Alex. Bryce is hanging on. So he did this a month ago. Can he do it again? He is hanging on right for dear life. Marcus Powell has given him the opportunity twice now. to drive away. Let's see if Powell can reel him back in. He's got about 7 minutes left to go. But his biggest challenge right now is the 27 of Newton. Newton all over the back of Dickman here. Once again. And Castillo's not going away. Castillo's doing a solid job. He's been right there 3rd and 4th, just lurking in the shadows, just waiting for somebody to make a mistake. Marcus Powell's doing everything he can to reel this group back in, but he is now falling back. Let's take a look here. We can look at... so let's look at the lap times here compared with Marcus Powell and our leader. And last lap, Marcus Powell was over a second quicker. You can see the lap before where he lost almost 3 seconds when he went off the racetrack. But he's getting himself gathered back up, getting back in a rhythm. And he is starting to reel our leaders back in, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time. As we take a look one more time, down the front straightaway, Newton now to the outside. He's got the lead right now. Can he keep it going into 1? Dickman on the bottom. Dickman's going to drive it in deep. Newton's got the lead into turn number 1. Here comes Bryce Dickman back in the 14. He's going to try to get back up underneath him off of 2. Newton pushed it hard into the corner. He's going to push up the racetrack in turn number 2. Dickman back to the bottom. Once again, they're still side by side. The 14 and the 27 going at it here. Dickman way out on the racetrack using that curb in it. He got the lead back doing it last time, but this time Paul Newton's going to hang on to it. Dickman now back to second. Castillo, our top 4 right there together. Newton, Dickman, Castillo, and Powell. 5.5 minutes left to go in this race. It's still anybody's race at this point. Castillo's the only driver in this top 4 does not let. Powell's going to take the late dive underneath Castillo. That was a late move for Marcus Powell. It almost paid off. He has to settle back behind the 9. Marcus Powell trying to regain the positions he lost from going off the racetrack here just a few laps ago. But he's only got a few minutes left to do it. Can he gather up his speed here, get his composure, get himself a back around Castillo, because he's got to pick him off one at a time if he's going to get back to the front. Take a quick look back. We still got this battle going on here with Carruthers and King. They've been going at it for 6th and 7th. Bringetto back here with Trevor Feshner. So we got little races all over the racetrack. Here's Audrey Cannon, Team Skittles in the 27 back here driving her race. Dickman now back to the outside. He's going to see if he can make the same move that Newton did here a few laps ago. Bryce Dickman back around the outside of the 27 of Paul Newton. Head down to turn number 1. Castillo's got his hand full with Powell. Powell takes a look to the inside. Powell's going to late dive from Marcus Powell. He gets by Castillo, but once again he got in a little too deep. Drove the car off the racetrack. That might have been his last chance right there. But as we were watching Marcus Powell drive off the racetrack, Dickman back to the point. He is going to get around Newton. They've been swapping the lead back and forth the last couple of laps, the 14 and the 27. Newton down to the bottom. Nice move there from Paul Newton, but Dickman's going to carry the momentum off the corner. He's going to have the lead. We got a slowdown penalty for Marcus Powell. Fastest lap of the race has been Paul Newton. You can see the little timing and scoring there on the leaderboard. And they're side by side once again. This is going to come down to the wire here. Castillo right there in the back of him. Castillo gets in a little deep, just about got into the corner pounder of Newton. Had to back out of the throttle. He tried to make a late lunge right there. Had to back out of it, or he could caught the 27. It's going to cost him a bunch of ground right there. At the same time, that let Dickman get away a little bit by about 0.7 of a second, which translates to about 8 or 9 car lengths on the racetrack. Little breathing room for Bryce Dickman. He hasn't had much of that today. So it looks like it's at this point going to come down to 2. It was a contest of 4. Marcus Powell is falling back off a little bit more. Castillo now is falling back off the points rate, off the race here for the lead. As we come across the line one more time. And if my math is correct, we're going to probably have 2 more laps at this point. So Dickman's just got a couple of laps around here in Virginia to try to hang on to the lead. I got to give these guys credit. They're using the H pattern. I see Trevor's using it. I remember correctly, you can see Audrey's using the H pattern shifter. I'm pretty sure Paul does it too. I'm just lazy, man. I just need the paddle shifters. It's just too damn easy to use the paddle shifters. All right, Newton's closing back in on the back of the 14 of Dickman. He's got about a lap and a half to make the pass. It's going to come down to these two drivers here at this point. At least somebody makes a mistake. It looks like Castillo and Powell are now out of the picture. Tyler King and Carruthers, they have been going at it the entire race. King gets up alongside of Carruthers. This is for 6th and 7th. The 21 and the 83 side by side. You can see some damage on the back of the 21. Not sure when that happened during the race. Contact right there. That's going to send King off the racetrack. Still going at it right here. Still side by side. Carruthers back behind King. This is for 6th. And a late lunge from Carruthers. He gets down to the corner. Nice job running side by side. Inches between the two cars. King's going to get clear of him right there as he's going to jump back up into 6th. Carruthers still trying to get by him. We're keeping an eye on the battle up front. You're not missing anything. It's about 0.6 of a second, as you can see on the timing and scoring between Dickman and Newton. As they're going to come across the line here to start the white flag lap. White flag is in the air. We've got a little over a minute left to go, and lap times have been about 1:40, so this is going to be the last lap. Bryce Dickman's got one more lap to bring home his second win of the season. Paul Newton's about 0.4 of a second back. He drives it deep into turn number 1. He made a lot of ground up right there. Made up about 0.3 of a second just in that one corner. So Bryce doing a good job right here, but he has got the 27 all over the back of him. He's got about 3/4 of a lap left to hang on to the lead. Can he bring home win number 2? A little bit further back, it's Castillo and Powell. This looks to be settled right now. There's a pretty good distance between these two drivers, about 3 or 4 car lengths. I think Castillo's going to hang on for 3rd, I think it might be his first podium of the season. All right, about half a lap left to go for Bryce Dickman. Can Newton find the advantage somewhere on the racetrack? Well, maybe the last corner through the turn 17 might be his best opportunity, but right now, the 14 of Bryce Dickman looks to be in shape to bring home his second win of the season. Just a few more corners left to go for Bryce Dickman in the 14. Paul Newton is in on the back as they come off the final corner. Going to come across the line here, down the front straightaway. Newton's got a little bit of a draft right here. Can he pull up alongside before they get to the start-finish line? It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be the 14 of Bryce Dickman coming home with the win. Paul Newton in second. Castillo is going to get to the inside of... Powell's going to get to the inside of Castillo, but it's going to be Castillo hanging on to the final podium spot. Then we get back here a little further. Here comes Jason Trantham. He is going to come home in 5th. And there's that battle. King way off the racetrack. A battle here with King and Carruthers. That's for 6th and 7th. Back to 8th. It's going to be Trevor Fetchner. As Trevor's got a little more racetrack left to go. He comes off the final corner to come across the line. We see Trevor going to come home in 8th. Mikey Bringetti in 9th. But your winner in the 14, it's going to be Bryce Dickman coming home with the victory for his second win of the season. Paul Newton in second. They did everything they could. That was Marcus Powell's race to win. He made a couple of mistakes, cost himself a chance at the victory. He comes home in 4th. I'm looking at my timing and scoring. It was they basically tied across the line. I mean, it was like 1,000. I think it was maybe 100th of a second between Castillo and Powell at the line. Let's go back and take a look at that real quick here, maybe from a little bit different angle. Watch him come through the last couple of corners. This is the battle for 3rd. Powell gets a good run into the last corner. He gets up underneath Castillo. That gives him a little bit of a bump right there. Maybe it looked like he's got a run on the inside as they're heading up to the start-finish line. Side by side. Little side draft there for Castillo. And they're across the line basically within an inch of each other. That was the battle for 3rd. But in the meantime, it was Bryce Dickman in the 14 coming home with win number 2 on the season. As it looks like we got Bryce doing donuts out on the racetrack. Well, good victory there for Bryce Dickman. We're going to get up into get our race interviews going here real quick. All right. We'll get over into the Discord and see if we can find anybody in the waiting room. Hey, Bryce, you got Chris in the booth. Are you there? All right, just a second. Nobody can hear you, so let me fix something real fast. All right, that ought to work.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but I gotta make. God, it's something's. All right, there we go. All right,
You
man. I'm good. Are you good? You're the one.
I'm good. I'm tired.
You're the one that was racing. You had to be sweating right there. I mean, you had Marcus right there in front of you. A couple of mistakes from him. I mean, you gotta give Marcus a little bit of a thanks right there. I mean, you were fast. You were giving him a battle right there, but a couple of mistakes gave you the opportunity to take the lead. But then you had Paul all over the back of you. Kind of tell us what were you looking in the mirror more than you were out front?
Yeah, the whole entire race was managing the people behind and trying to stay out front, but manage my tires because this track is kind of difficult if you're not in the lead. It's hard going through some of those S's. But man, Marcus was so fast. It's a shame that he made a couple mistakes there because he was unbeatable, I think, in pace. And then Paul definitely manages tires better. I think we're pretty close, but he manages his tires so much better than me. So he was all over me, and I just had to defend like crazy, which, it was a bit aggressive on my part for defending, but I have to do that to beat these guys. That's how good they are.
I mean, nobody will blame you for being aggressive there at the end of that for sure. I mean, getting 2 wins on the season. I know you were pretty excited when you got your first one. Sorry, I'm pulling up your webcam now so we can get you on the camera at the same time. But I know you were pretty excited a month ago. Did you expect you could come back and pick up win number 2 here tonight?
I honestly didn't know with the mystery track. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a track that I'm good at. I think VIR, the regular course, the long course, I'm a lot worse at. So I was happy to be out here and be close, man. I don't know. It was just a race management deal there. I think I got lucky with Marcus making a mistake there because I think he would have been gone. I think he would have left me and Paul to fight for second.
Well, let's see. We come back in about a month to Sonoma. We head out to California, your guys' home state. How you like what do you feel about Sonoma?
I'm excited. I love Sonoma. I don't know how my pace is going to be there with these guys, but it's one of my favorite tracks, and it's going to be a ton of fun to race on.
Well, good job again tonight, brother. Congratulations on win number 2. You drove your ass off out there, and I can tell, man. But hey, before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thank you again for the words, and thank you for the broadcasts. And I do got to thank a couple of my fans, my grandma and my girlfriend Kirsten, for watching and supporting. When they can. It's cool to have fans out there supporting every single week doing this. So yeah, thankful to them, and thank Paul and Marcus and Juan there for being just good drivers. It's, having a great battle like that every week without having too many issues is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you guys make it fun to watch. I mean, not a huge field, but week in and week out, you guys put on a hell of a race up front, and good job tonight, man. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get our second place finisher up here. Let's see if we can find the right screen to look at. All right, it looks like we might have Paul already in here with us. Paul, are you there, buddy?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can, but unfortunately, I can't see you because I cannot get your cam to work for some reason. So, but thanks for sharing it. It was working earlier, but for some reason now it won't come up. You know what, man? You did everything you possibly could there on Marcus, and then once again on Bryce. You got yourself to the lead there a couple of times. Kind of tell us how it was from your point, how it looked in the seat of the 27 out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great race. It was man, back and forth between me and Bryce, and then Marcus was up in there too, and Juan was up in there, and just I think these cars just draft so well we couldn't get away from each other. That's every time I took the lead, I was so slow off that final turn that Bryce just had my number. He could eat me up and spit me out before turn one. So it was fun, but it was close and it was nerve-wracking and it was tough.
Yeah, I was really surprised just how well the cars drafted, especially heading into turn number one when you guys gave really a good run. But it looked like at times it also might have been the kind of maybe what bit Marcus right there as he just got into the corners a little too hard. But really, you guys did a great job. I mean, a lot of side-by-side action. That's the fun thing with these Mazda MX-5s. You guys can run side-by-side like that, and there's so much room on the racetrack that, not a lot of contact. You guys just put on a really good show.
Well, thanks. I think we do too. It's a lot of fun racing with these guys. A lot of them have been there since the start of Fresno SCCA Sim Racing League, so I know all about how to race them and about their tendencies, and haven't figured out how to beat them, but it's been a lot of fun. These are a great group of guys.
Well, as I was talking to Bryce, I'm sure you heard we've got Sonoma in a month. You guys have got to be really familiar with Sonoma. I'm sure. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Sonoma. It's a great track. It's a local track. I've never driven on it in real life. Some of these guys have, so they might have the advantage there. But it's an SCCA track, so it's good to see one of the tracks that's close to our hearts on the schedule, and it's going to be a good one.
Should definitely be a fun one. But great show again tonight, man. Congratulations on another podium finish. I know you'd rather been one more spot up, but you guys put on a good show, and that's good sportsmanship out there too. You can see the give and take you guys were doing on each other. I mean, Juan just about ran over you guys there in that one corner, but you can see he backed out of the throttle, cost himself about 10 car lengths. But I mean, that's just the kind of race you guys are putting on right here. It's just really clean. You guys got a lot of respect from each other. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, well, a lot of us know each other in real life, so it's a little more. There's consequences that could happen, more so than if you're just hiding behind a screen name online. But yeah. Great group.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations once again. Thanks for having us. We're looking forward to the rest of the season. But hey, man, before we get you out of here and we'll see if we can get Juan up here for an interview. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Just want to say hi to everybody watching, and thanks to the Fresno SCCA for letting us do this.
All right, brother. Have a good one. And let's see if we can get. Let's see. I've got. Is Magic Biped? Is that Juan?
That's Marcus.
All right, that's Marcus. All right, let's get Juan up in here first. Juan, you got Chris in the booth. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right, let's see if I can get your volume turned up for a little bit. All right, you kind of lurked back there in third, waiting for your opportunity. Kind of tell us how your adventure was for that 25 minutes.
I was just struggling trying to keep up with them. There's a little moment there where I thought I had a chance, but I outbraked myself a little bit.
Yeah, I was just talking to Paul about that moment. You dove down into the corner right there. But you did the right thing. I mean, I've seen other people that would have just kept going right there and just taken out the leaders. But saw you backed out of the throttle. It cost you some spots, but it cost you some, maybe not a spot, but it did cost you a little bit of ground on the leaders and pretty much took you out of the chance for the win. But you did the right thing right there. But you had good speed. I think it's your best race we've seen all season. What did you do any different to prepare for this? Or, I mean, it was a mystery track, so I guess you really couldn't have practiced much.
Yeah, nothing different, actually. Maybe it's just more sim racing is making me better.
Yeah, I know how you feel about that. I have not had much opportunity to get in a race myself. I'm sitting here behind the mic most of the time, so when I get in the car, it's so more practice is the best thing you can do for sure. All right, man, we come back in about a month to Sonoma. Everybody seems to be pretty excited about it. Sonoma, how's your how you feel like you're going to do that on the 8th?
I'm super excited about that one. I always love that track. So hopefully it goes well.
All right, brother. Well, congrats on a podium finish tonight. Anybody you want to give a thanks to? Anybody else out there helps you get it done?
No, nothing so far.
All right, brother. Well, good finish tonight. We're going to talk to you after a while. We'll probably see you. Well, I'm sure we'll see you again.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
You bet. All right. Is that you, Marcus? Are you in here?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can get your mic turned up. I'm really struggling with getting the volumes up high enough for people to hear you. All right. All right. Well, I think I know how your night went. You were fastest car on the racetrack all night. You were fastest in practice. You were sat on the pole. you jumped out to the lead. I'm guessing maybe you need to just dial in a little real break, maybe a little rear brake.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is my first weekend. I'm actually driving with a 5-speed gearbox, 5-speed shifter. So I'm still kind of getting used to it a little bit. And the game was doing some kind of weird stuff on me where I don't know. I felt like it was like holding throttle on me, even though I turned all the assists off. So I think that was kind of screwing with me a little bit. But I was able to work around it. But yeah, just kind of had a little mess ups all on my own that pushed me back a little.
All right, so you got yourself a 5/8 shifter, right?
Yeah, 5-speed shifter.
Yeah, an H. It's like it's not an H pattern. It's not H pattern.
Sorry, H pattern. Yeah,
right,
my bad.
You have paddles on your wheel, right?
Correct.
So I have to ask this question: why?
Why did I get the shifter?
Yeah.
I wanted the experience. I wanted it to feel more like the real car. And it always feels a little weird hitting the clutch and hitting a shifter paddle at the same time. So, I just wanted to get that tactile sensation. Plus, it just helps me, practice for real life driving too. So,
well, I guess I could see that with you guys since this is kind of part of the real life SCCA. You're getting the practice for both of them. Me, I'm just too damn lazy. I'm like, just give me the paddle. I don't want to use I don't even have a clutch pedal. So it's just like, just give me the paddle shifters. I don't want to have to mess with anything else. But you guys are making it work, man. You guys look really good out there. I know you really wanted that first victory here tonight.
I did.
You charged there at the end, just about got back around one. I think you guys were like 1,000ths of a second. It was something crazy.
I just looked it up. It was like 4,000ths of a second. So.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, good run, man. You just come up just a little bit short. I know you're going to get one before the season's out if you keep up the pace you're going. But I know you guys got the fun race to go on to here in a minute. But so before you get out of here, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to the whole SCCA group, Paul and everyone that sets this up. They graciously allowed me to play in their reindeer games, so just want to appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, good run again tonight. Just dial the brake back a little bit, or just got to lift a little sooner. I know you just went a little deep right there. You don't need me. You don't need me giving you the advice. You know what it was. But man, you looked really good. I was rooting for you. Really was. Couple mistakes there, but I also got to root for Bruce. You guys just put on a good race all the way around, so it's just fun to it's fun to call these races when it's just good racing going on. I've called somewhere where it's just like somebody just checks out and leaves, so it's a lot more fun when you guys are battling back and forth. But good job, and I'm sure we're gonna see you before it's over. We got Sonoma coming up in a month. Everybody seems to be excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I'll have to get it for the game if I don't have it already. But Paul kind of mentioned I've actually driven it once before in real life, so I'm hoping that'll help me out a little bit and give me a little bit of an edge up. We'll see.
All right, man. Well, good job again tonight, and good luck later on, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You betcha. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, bring up our full results here for the Fresno SCCA Club. Let's see if we can get if I could find the right button. There we go. All right. I got too many buttons on my screen. That's going to be our final results here for the night. Bryce Dickman coming home with his second win on the season. Paul Newton in second. Juan Castillo in third by only 4,000ths of a second. Marcus Powell's going to come home in fourth. Then it's Jason Trantham, James Carruthers, Tyler King, Trevor Fetchner, Mikey Bringetto, and Audrey Tan. That is going to round out our top 10 here for the night for the SCCA. Don't forget, we got more racing action coming your way this week here on DRSN. We're off tomorrow night, but Friday night we're back with the Half Decent Racing League Truck Series. I remember what track we're at. I don't know. It's Half Decent Racing Truck Series. And also on the channel at the same time, both going to happen at 9 o'clock Eastern, so you get your pick of poison. We're going to have the Survivor 200. It's going to be the... I can't remember the name of the group here. Let me get it right here. So it is the Rough Racing Community, which seems like a perfect name for this event that we're putting on here. But it's going to be multi-class. They're going to run mini stocks, Indy cars, and Craftsman trucks at Daytona for 80 laps, no cautions. That's going to be a wild one. Join Sager Bashker for that one. And join me. So what you need to do is have multiple windows up. You can have both races going on the screens. You don't want to miss either one of them. So that's going to be Friday night. And then Saturday night, we may be back again with a JWRE Racing Super Speedway Money Race. We're not sure on that one yet, but that's coming at you Saturday night. That should be another fun one. Don't miss that one. So So from everybody here at DRSN and at the SCC Fresno chapter, I want to say thank you so much for joining us here tonight and spending your evening with us. I'm Chris Murphy saying keep it smooth, keep it smart, and if you can't do that, at least keep it entertaining for the folks at home. We're going to see you next time. Good night.